Hello world, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today, as you could probably tell from the title of this video. I was lucky enough to receive this gorgeous campaign diary from Rook and Raven as one of my Christmas gifts, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do a quick overview, sort of a casual review of the notebook itself, and show you how I'm planning to set it up and migrate my current Dungeons & Dragons character into this notebook. If you're not familiar with the Rook and the Raven, they're a really cool business that makes campaign diaries and campaign planners for game masters. They've got accessories, notebooks, all kinds of things. I will leave a link in the description for their website. You can go and check them out. I actually reached out to them with a question about this, but I'm too excited to wait for a response from them. So if I don't have any complete information about this, check the description and see if I have included it there. Or like I said, you can always go to their website for more information. So as you can probably tell, this is a disc-bound notebook. This is my first time using any sort of disc-bound journal or notebook, so it's something I will definitely have to get used to, but I'm really excited about it because you can take everything out, the covers, the pages. You can get inserts from the Rook and the Raven. You can get custom inserts from places like Etsy. You can even make your own inserts if you want to. I'm really, really excited about that level of customization. When you first get the journal, it comes with this nice little cover sheet, Greetings Adventurer, and it's got a little bit of information about ways that you can use the journal, and also a URL for their tutorials on their website. Getting into the notebook itself, it has actually two covers. So there's this exterior cover that comes in different colors, got sort of a pearlescent sheen to it. It's so pretty. And this is a somewhat thin chipboard, and that is on the front and back. And inside that is a secondary cover that is a slighter thicker chipboard, and it's got this really pretty map detailing. And this is a glossy finish. So it feels really nice. It looks really nice. The detailing of these journals is exquisite. I cannot recommend these highly enough. And then it starts off with a place to write in the name for your current adventure and a space for your character backstory. Then it gets right into the character sheet. The character sheets are formatted for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. You can also get expansion packs for other systems. I remember they have Starfinder, Pathfinder, they might have Shadowrun. I don't fully remember what else is available. Once again, check their website for all of the cool stuff that they have. And then this is a really cool feature. In part of the character sheet, you have these clear, these feel like acetate, I think, sheets so that you can update your character sheet with dry erase markers. So like for your hit points or counting off spell slots or death saves, things like that, you can do all of that with a dry erase marker. Super cool. I actually use a dry erase marker system for playing D20 Modern, and I've done that for the current campaign I'm in and the previous campaign that I was in, and it worked really well for me. So I love that they thought to include that. You get 2 sheets of the plastic, and like everything else in here, they're fully removable, so you can move these around wherever you want them. And then it comes with 1 sheet for spells. This is front and back. By the way, the paper feels really, really nice. It's coated, so it's got a very smooth finish to it. It's an off-white, sort of a cream color. I'll find a sheet of printer paper to show you. I don't know what the GSM is. That was what I reached out to ask them about. I'm gonna guess it's about a 100 GSM. It could be 90, but it doesn't feel quite that thin. But it's not as thick as like the 120 in a Lemome bullet journal, for example. And I will also do a quick pen test in this so you can see, and I can see because I have no idea what kind of ghosting happens with this paper. And then after your spells, you get into the note pages. You've got several pages with just this nice little detailing. That's on all of them actually, and a space to put in the date, location, and session number. And these are front and back. You have several of these. And then you get into just blank ruled pages, which are ruled front and back. Then you have these really neat pages that are quartered with a space for a heading. And again, these are front and back, and you've got a couple of these, not too many. I think it's like maybe 8 or so of these. Oh, before I get too far, let me grab a sheet of paper and show you a color comparison. This is a sheet of just plain white printer paper, so you can see that this is not pure white, but it's not super yellow. It's within a range where I still like it, and I'm someone that's very picky about my paper. Back to the quarter pages. Okay, after the quarters, get into these pages that have like a blank place for doodling, maybe sketching something. You could draw your character, you could draw a magic item, you could draw whatever. You could do whatever with the space. And these are also front and back. And there's a couple of these in here. And then we get into these pages that are neat, but also a little bit confusing to me. They are ruled on one side, and then they have a grid space on the other. I love the grid space because I like to copy down any maps that we use. I'll either, like if it's a digital map, I'll print it out and include it in my campaign diary, or I will like sketch out a map of a room or something if it's something I want to remember. The part that confuses me is that it's ruled on one side and then gridded on the other, whereas the blank ones, you have that blank space on both sides. So I know that I will get a lot of use out of both of these. It's just a little odd to me. After these, you have extra character sheets. I don't remember how many of these there are. I'll put that in the description. And then a bunch of other spell sheets, because I don't know how a character, you would have to be like a paladin who has like no spells in order to get use out of one single sheet. And then a couple more pages for a character backstory. And then that's the notebook. So real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my current campaign journal. This is a minimalism art profession, it's premium? I don't remember, whatever the fancy version is of the minimalism art. This is not a notebook I recommend at all. I purchased this to be a bullet journal, and then the quality of this notebook and the paper do not live up to expectations, so I decided to use it for a D&D journal because I'm considerably less picky about my note-taking for a game than I am for my actual bullet journal. So the way that I have this set up, it comes with an index and it has page numbers, which is really cool. The index is not something I actually use for my bullet journal, but it is really useful for a campaign journal. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then I sort of designed out this character sheet. I actually don't use a character sheet in my journal. Because it's a 5th edition campaign, I'm able to use D&D Beyond to track my character sheet. So everything relating to my character sheet, my stats, my hit points, my spells, all of that I do on D&D Beyond. So I don't ever touch this at all, and it's actually more tedious for me to come back here and update this every time I level up than to just do it through D&D Beyond, where it all happens automatically. So I set this up with some character sheet pages, backstory. There's a place in here for money. Again, I don't use this at all. Place for equipment, backpacks and pouches. Because I am playing a spellcaster, I'm a cleric. I wanted a place to write down spell components. This is something that I want to change a little bit when I migrate into the Rook and the Raven campaign diary. Got a shopping list. Definitely want to keep this, but change it up a bit. The group pot was one I started after we started the game because I just happened to be keeping track of it. But it's a lot easier to do that in a Google spreadsheet because it will do the math automatically. This is not something that I need. And then there's information about the Pantheon, some other stuff, and then we're getting into backstory and the actual campaign notes themselves. So let's just go start taking things apart. Okay, so I know I definitely want my backstory. I might not want it here, but I definitely want the backstory. As gorgeous as these character sheet pages are, I'm not going to use them. Let's move the acetate pages somewhere else. I do not need these. Keeping track of my spells on paper just does not make sense to me because I want to see the description. Oh my god. Okay. Pause on pulling this apart real quick. I also got one of the accessory packs in the same Christmas gift. This is a spell card holder, so I can show you that as well. So these are the spell card sheets. You probably can't see these super well. These are the same sort of acetate sheets, so you can write on them with dry erase markers. And they're not sleeves. They're sort of, I don't know how I would even describe this, but let's get my finger through there to show you. Like, this is how you would put a spell card in there, right? Okay, do we understand, maybe? It only comes with 2 in the expansion pack, which is, I get it, but it would also be a lot more useful with more of them. So I'm gonna figure out how I want to utilize these. Also, I don't have spell cards yet. I would need to buy them, and like, I want them, but I don't have them yet, you know? So anyway, that's enough of that sidetrack. Alright, my character sheet pages, they're so nice, so nice looking. I'm just not gonna use these at all. Here we go. So these quarter pages, I have a couple of ideas for these. I am the kind of person who likes to keep track of group initiatives, marching orders, and watch orders. So I'm gonna take one of these and use this to keep track of our marching order and our watch order. And the rest of these I'm thinking to use as an index, because what I was doing here was just writing down the page number and then the session, which is nice, but also not actually super useful. What I'm finding I really need is a way to reference, like, here is a category that is NPCs, and then here are the names of the NPCs, or like the groups of NPCs, and then the pages where I could find them, stuff like that. So more organizing by category. I don't know what categories I'm gonna use yet, so I'm gonna keep these out, and the first actual migration thing I'm gonna do is to actually transcribe and copy my notes into here and figure out what my categories and subcategories are gonna end up being. This is definitely gonna be filmed in 2 parts. Yeah, I think that's actually, oh, I was gonna do a pen test. Okay, I have a selection of pens. I have here the Pilot G2.38. This is the Pilot Friction, a micron in a 01 pencil, just in case. I have a Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip and a Tombow brush pen, and a couple different colors of zebra mild liners. All right, let's see what this looks like. Okay, there is some ghosting here of pretty much that. Yeah, I can see all of them through the page. The only ones that would annoy me personally are the Fudenosuke, the Tombow brush pen, and the mild liner. Okay, and that's it for what I can film right now. I need to do the work of actually transcribing my notes. And when I do that, I will pull out whatever the categories are I want to include in my index, and I will probably bring you back to show you how all of this has come together. Thank you very much for watching. I know this is probably a little bit odd if you have been here before to watch bullet journaling videos, or if you have never been here before. I don't see a whole lot of people talking about their Dungeons and Dragons campaign journals, so Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to the world later. Bye-bye.